Ravi adjusted his helmet as he looked out of the cockpit of his spaceship. The planet below glowed with soft green and blue colors. It looked peaceful from above, but the energy readings his instruments were showing made his heart race. No human had landed here before, and the unknown made him both nervous and excited. He had been trained for missions like this, but something about this planet felt different. The landing gear touched the surface softly. The ground was covered with tall, glowing plants that sway gently in the light wind. Ravi stepped out carefully, feeling the soft soil under his boots. The air smelled sweet, like a mixture of flowers and rain, but it had a faint metallic taste. He checked his instruments again. The readings were unusual. Something on this planet was alive, but it was not just the plants. There was something else moving. As he walked further into the forest, he noticed small footprints in the soft soil. They were unlike any creature he had ever seen. The footprints were small and delicate, with 3 toes pointing forward and 1 pointing backward. Ravi bent down to examine them. They looked recent. Whoever or whatever had made them had passed through very quickly. He followed the footprints, moving carefully so as not to make noise. The forest was quiet except for the soft rustling of the glowing leaves. He wondered if he would see a creature or if it was just a trick of his mind. The footprints led him to a small clearing. Sunlight filtered through the glowing trees, creating sparkling patterns on the ground. Then he saw it. A small figure, crouched behind a tree, was watching him. Its skin was light blue with faint stripes that shimmered slightly. Its eyes were large and round, glowing softly in the light. The creature was small, no taller than a human child, but it had an energy about it that made Ravi feel something strange in his chest. Before Ravi could move, the small alien jumped forward. Its legs moved so quickly that he barely had time to react. It ran straight toward him and shouted a word that surprised him more than anything he had ever heard in his life. "Dad." Ravi froze. His mind tried to understand what was happening. The alien, a small childlike being, ran straight into his arms. It hugged him tightly, pressing its head against his chest. Ravi felt his heart race. He did not know this creature, yet it called him something that he could not understand. The word "Dad" echoed in his mind, making his world feel strange and confusing. Then he noticed movement behind the small alien. A tall, elegant figure was approaching. She had skin that shimmered like polished metal and eyes that glowed like the stars. She walked gracefully, her long hair flowing as if it were alive. The moment she saw the small alien in Ravi's arms, her hand went to her mouth. Shock was written across her face. Ravi realized she was the queen of this planet. Her presence felt powerful but not threatening. She did not raise a weapon. Instead, she watched with wide eyes, unable to speak. The small alien looked up at her for a moment, then returned its attention to Ravi, still holding him tightly. Ravi tried to speak, but the words caught in his throat. He had faced danger before, but nothing like this. A human and an alien had never met like this. And now, this childlike alien was calling him something that made no sense. The queen moved closer, her steps slow and careful. She did not want to scare the child, and she seemed unsure about Ravi. When she was near enough, she spoke softly. The words were not human, but somehow Ravi understood them. It was a voice inside his mind, calm and clear. "She calls you her father," the queen said. "I did not expect this. No human has ever been her parent before." Ravi blinked. He shook his head slowly. I do not understand. How can I be her father?" I have never met her before today. The queen's eyes softened. She remembers someone who is like you. Many cycles ago, humans and my people, we experimented. She is not fully one species or the other. She remembers her parent in you. That is why she runs to you. Ravi's mind spun. He had trained for years as a pilot and explorer, but never for this. He looked down at the small alien in his arms. The creature's eyes were bright and full of trust. Its small hands clung to him tightly. Ravi could feel warmth from the child, something that reached past logic or explanation. He carefully sat down on the soft ground, making sure not to scare the child. The queen crouched nearby, observing. She did not touch the alien but stayed close enough to protect her if needed. Ravi gently extended his hand toward the child's head. The alien pressed its cheek against his palm, and a shiver ran through him. Do you remember me? Ravi asked softly. He was not sure if the child could answer in a way he could understand. The child shook its head slightly, but its eyes were filled with emotion. The queen spoke again, her voice calm in his mind. She knows you. She feels your presence. That is enough for now. Ravi took a deep breath. He had landed on a planet that no human had ever visited. He had found a life form that was intelligent and capable of emotion. And now, this life form called him something that made no sense, yet felt real. He did not know what would happen next, but one thing was clear. He could not leave the child alone. The forest around them was quiet, but Ravi felt a presence in the air. He knew the planet held secrets. He knew danger might come. But for the first time, he also felt something else. Connection. Family. Something that went beyond science or duty. The small alien rested its head on his shoulder, and Ravi gently stroked its back. The queen stayed close, still in shock but watching carefully. Ravi knew this moment would change his life forever. He had no answers yet, but he had a promise forming in his heart. He would protect this child. He would learn the truth. And he would face whatever came next with the child and the queen by his side. As the sun moved across the sky, casting glowing shadows in the forest, Ravi sat quietly, holding the alien child. He had arrived on the unknown planet, but it felt like he had arrived somewhere even more important. Somewhere he had never expected, a place that would become his new home in ways he could not yet understand. And for the first time, Ravi smiled with a mix of awe and hope. The adventure had only just begun. Ravi held the small alien child gently. Its eyes looked up at him with a mix of trust and curiosity. He could feel its tiny heartbeat against his chest, steady and strong. The forest around them glowed softly, casting shimmering light on the leaves. The queen stood a few steps away, still covering her mouth in shock, her eyes wide. She watched carefully, unsure if Ravi would react the way she expected. The child clung tightly to Ravi's arm. It made small, soft noises, like it was trying to speak, but the sounds did not match any human language. Ravi leaned closer, speaking softly. I am here. You are safe with me. Can you understand me? The child tilted its head and blinked. It seemed to sense the words, even if it did not understand them fully. Then, almost instinctively, it repeated the word it had shouted before. Dad. Ravi swallowed. His heart raced. Dad? That is, a human word. How do you know it? Before the child could respond, the queen moved closer. She was tall, graceful, and her movements were silent. She spoke in a low, calm voice, not to Ravi, but somehow inside his mind. She knows you. She feels your presence. Her memories of her parent, they are linked to you. That is why she calls you this. Ravi looked at her in disbelief. Linked to me? How is that possible? I have never met her before. The Queen's eyes softened. Sometimes the bonds between life forms can cross space and species. Your presence awakens what she remembers. She trusts you instinctively. Ravi glanced down at the child. The alien's small hands were wrapped around his arm, and it pressed its head against his chest again. It did not seem afraid. It seemed happy. And the feeling inside him was strong. He could not explain it, but it was as if something deep inside his heart recognized this child. The Queen moved even closer now. She crouched near them, keeping her eyes on the child. You must understand, she said softly, this is not ordinary. My people have laws about hybrid life. But she is different. She is special. You must be careful. Ravi nodded slowly. I will protect her. I do not know why she came to me, but I will not let anything harm her. The child suddenly pulled back a little and looked up at Ravi. Its glowing eyes were full of curiosity. It made another soft sound, almost like a question. Ravi smiled gently. I do not know everything yet. But we can learn together. I will help you, and I will keep you safe. The Queen observed quietly. She was surprised by how naturally the human spoke to the child. She did not interfere, but she stayed ready to act if needed. The child, after a moment, relaxed again and rested its head on Ravi's shoulder. Ravi felt warmth spread through him. Somehow, he knew he had to trust this child, just as it trusted him. Suddenly, Ravi noticed movement in the forest. Small shadows flitted between the glowing trees. He tensed. The forest had been quiet until now. Who is there? He called softly, not wanting to scare the child. The Queen stood and extended her hand slightly. Stay calm. These are likely scouts from another group. They are not friendly. We must move carefully. Ravi nodded. All right. Let's find a safe place. Can you help me? The Queen led the way through the forest, her movements silent and precise. The child clung to Ravi's arm, still looking around with wide eyes. The shadows moved closer, but the glowing plants provided natural cover. Ravi and the Queen used the light and the trees to stay hidden. As they walked, Ravi tried to speak to the child again. Do you have a name? He asked softly. The child tilted its head and made a series of sounds. The Queen translated in his mind. Her name is Luma, she said. It means light in our language. She was given this name at birth. Ravi smiled at Luma. Luma, that is a beautiful name. I will remember it. The forest opened into a larger clearing. In the center, strange ruins of an ancient civilization lay half buried in the glowing soil. Towers and walls shimmered with energy. Luma ran slightly ahead, curious, and Ravi followed, keeping his arm ready to protect her. The Queen moved beside him, calm but alert. This place is important, the Queen said. It is from an old time. Many secrets are hidden here. Luma often came here as a child. She remembers it. Ravi looked around. The ruins were strange and beautiful. Symbols glowed on the walls, and strange devices hummed with energy. He could feel that the place was alive in a way he could not explain. It feels powerful, he said. Almost like it has its own heartbeat. The Queen nodded. Yes. It holds energy that my people once used for protection and learning. You must respect it. Luma is drawn to it because she remembers it. She feels safe here. Luma ran to a small pedestal in the center of the ruins. She touched it lightly, and the symbols on the walls glowed brighter. Ravi stepped closer, fascinated. "This is incredible," he whispered. "I have never seen anything like this." The queen observed quietly. "Humans have much potential. It is rare to see one who can connect with Luma so easily. Your presence is strengthening her memory." Ravi knelt beside Luma. "Do you remember me, little one?" he asked softly. Luma looked up at him, her glowing eyes filled with trust. She reached out and held his hand. Ravi felt a warmth spread through his body. The queen's eyes softened. "This bond is strong. It may grow even stronger with time. But you must be careful. Others will come who do not wish to see it thrive." Ravi nodded. "I understand. We will face them together. I will not let anything harm Luma." As the sun began to move toward the horizon, casting golden light across the glowing ruins, Ravi sat beside Luma. The child rested her head against him, and he felt a sense of peace he had never known. The queen stood nearby, watching, still cautious but slowly beginning to trust the human. Ravi realized that this moment was just the beginning. He did not yet know the truth about Luma, or why she called him Dad, or what challenges lay ahead. But he knew one thing clearly: he would protect her, no matter what. For the first time in his life, Ravi felt the weight of responsibility and the warmth of connection at the same time. And as the stars began to appear in the sky above the glowing forest, he knew that his journey on this unknown planet had become something much more important than exploration. It had become a journey of trust, discovery, and family. Ravi sat quietly in the glowing ruins, holding Luma close. The child's small hands clung to him tightly, and her soft breathing was steady. For a long moment, Ravi just stared at the strange symbols glowing on the walls. He felt as if the energy in the place was alive, watching them, and somehow responding to Luma. He still could not understand why the child called him Dad, yet he could not deny the strange connection he felt. The queen, tall and radiant, remained standing nearby. Her eyes, bright and full of wisdom, observed both Ravi and Luma. She finally spoke, her voice calm and slow, echoing inside Ravi's mind. "You must know the truth," she said. "She is not an ordinary child. She is a hybrid, born from the union of human and alien energy. Many cycles ago, humans and my people experimented. She is the result of that. She remembers her parent in you." Ravi blinked, unsure how to respond. I do not remember anything like that. I have never been involved in experiments like this. I do not even know how she could know me." The queen moved closer and crouched beside him. "Her memories are not yours, but they connect to you. Your energy, your presence, calls to her. It is why she ran to you. She trusts you because something deep inside her knows you." Ravi looked down at Luma. Her glowing eyes were watching him closely, full of curiosity and trust. "So, she remembers me even though I have never met her?" he asked softly. The queen nodded. "Yes. That is why this moment is unusual. No human has ever awakened her memories like you have. She may see you as a parent because her mind is seeking the bond she lost long ago." Ravi swallowed. He felt a mixture of awe and fear. He had faced danger before, and he had explored unknown worlds, but this was different. This was not about science or survival. This was about connection, about a life depending on him in a way he did not yet fully understand. Luma suddenly made a soft noise and reached up to touch his face. Her small fingers were delicate and warm. Ravi gently held her hand. Do you remember anything?" he asked softly. The child tilted her head and blinked. Then she pressed her glowing forehead against his chest. It was as if she was trying to communicate something that words could not express. The queen watched carefully. She cannot explain in words yet. But she feels safe with you. That is what matters now. Ravi nodded slowly. He realized that even though he did not have answers, he had to act with care. He had to protect Luma, and he had to learn everything he could about her origins and her abilities. Suddenly, a faint vibration ran through the ground beneath them. Ravi stood quickly, holding Luma close. The queen's eyes narrowed. "You are not alone," she said. "Others are approaching. You must be cautious." Ravi looked toward the edge of the ruins. In the distance, shadows moved between the glowing trees. They were fast, organized, and clearly searching for something. He tightened his hold on Luma. "Who are they?" he asked. "They are from a faction that does not wish Luma to exist," the queen replied. "They want to capture her, to use her power for themselves. You must move before they find you." Ravi's mind raced. He had expected challenges on this mission, but he had not expected this. He had not expected to be responsible for a life form that was unique and powerful, and now he had to protect her from enemies he did not fully understand. The queen took Luma gently into her arms for a moment, her touch careful and protective. "We must leave this place. Follow me. I know a safe location nearby." Ravi followed, carrying a small pack of supplies. Luma clung to the queen at first, but soon returned to Ravi's side, holding his hand tightly. As they moved through the forest, Ravi noticed the beauty of the glowing plants. They were like nothing he had ever seen. Some shimmered in colors he could not name, and others hummed softly, as if responding to their presence. "Ravi," the queen said quietly, "you must understand something. Luma is special not only because of her hybrid nature, but because she has potential. She can learn human knowledge and alien energy together. She can grow beyond what either of our species has ever achieved." Ravi looked at her with wide eyes. "Potential? You mean, she could be powerful?" The queen nodded. "Yes, but with power comes danger. She will need guidance, protection, and someone she can trust completely. That is why this bond with you is important. She chose you. Whether you understand it or not, she sees you as a parent." Ravi took a deep breath, holding Luma close. I will do my best. I do not fully understand everything, but I will not let anything happen to her." Luma made a soft noise, almost like a laugh, and pressed her head against his chest again. Ravi smiled, feeling a warmth that he had never experienced before. Somehow, despite the confusion and the danger, he felt that everything would be all right if he stayed with her. As they continued through the forest, Ravi noticed the strange energy patterns on the plants responding to Luma's presence. She reached out and touched a glowing vine, and it pulsed brightly, lighting the path ahead of them. The queen's eyes widened slightly. She is connecting with the energy. That is rare. Humans cannot do that naturally. Ravi looked down at her in wonder. She is incredible, he whispered. I do not know how, but she is incredible. The queen placed a hand on his shoulder. You must guide her. Teach her, protect her, and help her control her abilities. That is your role now. Ravi nodded firmly. He felt a new sense of purpose. He had been sent to explore unknown worlds, but now his mission was different. It was personal. It was about family, trust, and survival. Finally, they reached a small clearing surrounded by tall glowing trees. It was quiet and safe for the moment. Ravi sat down, holding Luma on his lap. The queen stood nearby, scanning the forest for any signs of danger. "You must rest," the queen said softly. "The journey ahead will be difficult. There will be those who want to take Luma. You must be prepared." Ravi nodded. "I will be ready. I will protect her, no matter what." Luma looked up at him, her glowing eyes full of trust. She reached out and held his hand again. Ravi felt a deep bond forming, one that went beyond explanation. He realized that this child had chosen him, and he had chosen to protect her in return. As the stars began to appear in the sky, shining above the glowing forest, Ravi knew that nothing would ever be the same. He had found a life worth protecting, a bond worth fighting for, and a child who saw him as her father. And for the first time, Ravi understood that some connections could not be explained by science or logic. Some connections existed simply because they were meant to exist. He held Luma close, watching the stars, and whispered, "We will face this together. I promise." The queen watched them silently, a small smile forming on her face. For the first time, she felt hope that humans and her people could truly work together. And as the night settled over the glowing forest, Ravi, Luma, and the queen prepared for the challenges that lay ahead. Ravi sat in the small clearing, Luma resting against his chest, her glowing eyes slowly closing as she relaxed. The forest around them shimmered in the soft light of the planet. For a moment, everything felt calm. But Ravi knew better than to trust calm completely. The queen had warned him. Danger was never far away. A sudden rustle of leaves made Ravi's heart race. He stood quickly, holding Luma protectively. The queen, standing beside him, immediately moved into a defensive stance. Shadows flickered between the glowing trees at the edge of the clearing. Ravi could see shapes moving, fast and precise. They were scouts, sent to find Luma. "They are coming," the queen said softly. "You must be ready." Ravi tightened his grip on Luma. "What are they? Can they harm her?" The queen's eyes narrowed. "Yes. They are from a faction that wants her power. They do not care about her life. They will take her if they can." Ravi felt a surge of fear, but it was mixed with determination. He had promised to protect her, and he would not break that promise. "We will not let them," he said firmly. "We need a plan." The queen scanned the forest. "There is a path through the trees that leads to a canyon. It is narrow and safe. If we move quickly, we can lose them. But you must follow my lead." Ravi nodded and held Luma close. The child stirred, opening her eyes and looking up at him. She made a soft noise, like she understood something important was happening. Ravi smiled gently at her. "Stay close to me," he whispered. "We will be safe." They began moving through the forest carefully, the queen leading the way. The shadows followed, moving faster now, clearly sensing Luma's presence. Ravi's mind raced. He had to think like both a human and a protector. Every step mattered. Every sound could give them away. As they moved, Ravi noticed how Luma's energy seemed to react to the danger. Her small hands glowed faintly, and the symbols on the forest plants pulsed brighter. The queen noticed too. "She is connecting with the energy around her," the queen said. "It is a defense instinct. It will help her and you, but she must be guided. Ravi glanced at Luma, feeling a mixture of awe and responsibility. I will help you, he whispered. You are safe with me. The path to the canyon was narrow, filled with tall glowing trees and thick vines. Ravi had to step carefully, carrying Luma without slowing down. The shadows were getting closer. Suddenly, one of the scouts broke through a cluster of trees, revealing itself. It was tall, with armor that shimmered like dark metal and eyes that glowed red. It raised a weapon that hummed with energy. Ravi instinctively stepped in front of Luma. Stay behind me, he said firmly. The queen raised her hands, sending a wave of energy that knocked the scout back into the trees. Ravi's heart raced, but he knew they could not stay in one place. Move now, the queen shouted. Ravi ran, holding Luma tightly, following her through the winding path. The scouts recovered quickly and pursued them relentlessly. Their movements were fast and precise, showing they had trained for such attacks. Ravi's mind worked quickly. He remembered the sensors on his suit and the small devices in his pack. He activated a few, sending out pulses that created illusions in the forest, hiding their trail. The queen used her powers to shield them, creating a barrier of energy that blocked the scouts' line of sight. Luma clung to Ravi, her small hands gripping his suit. She looked up at him with trust, and Ravi felt a surge of courage. We are almost there, he whispered. Keep moving. The path finally opened into a narrow canyon. High cliffs rose on both sides, and a small stream ran through the middle. The canyon was a natural trap. The scouts could not enter without being seen, and the terrain gave Ravi and the queen an advantage. Ravi placed Luma gently on the ground, keeping one hand on her shoulder. Stay close and stay quiet, he whispered. Luma nodded, her glowing eyes fixed on him. The queen moved to the front of the canyon, ready to block any attackers. The scouts arrived soon after, surrounding the entrance to the canyon. They raised their weapons, scanning for any sign of Luma. Ravi felt his heart pound, but he did not panic. He remembered the energy of the planet, the connection with Luma, and the queen's guidance. Now, the queen whispered. She raised her hands, and a wave of energy pulsed through the canyon. The glowing plants responded, creating a wall of light that confused the scouts. Shadows shifted, and the attackers struggled to see clearly. Ravi took the opportunity. He moved swiftly, placing small energy traps along the canyon floor. When the scouts stepped on them, pulses of light sent them tumbling back. Ravi felt a sense of satisfaction. He was using his human ingenuity to protect Luma, just as he had promised. Luma watched him, her small hands glowing faintly. She reached out instinctively, touching one of the glowing plants. The plant pulsed brightly, creating a protective barrier around them. Ravi realized that her connection to the planet's energy was stronger than he had thought. Together, they were becoming a formidable team. The scouts, frustrated and disoriented, tried to climb the canyon walls, but the queen used her power to block them. Ravi could see their panic growing. We can do this, he whispered to Luma. She made a small sound, like a cheer, and pressed her glowing hands against the ground again. The energy from the canyon responded, strengthening their defenses. Finally, the scouts retreated, realizing they could not reach Luma without risking their lives. The canyon fell silent. Ravi breathed heavily, holding Luma close. We did it, he said softly. You are safe now. The queen approached, her eyes calm but still alert. You have done well, she said to Ravi. You and Luma together are stronger than I imagined. But this is only the beginning. There will be others who come. You must continue to protect her. Ravi nodded, feeling a mix of pride and responsibility. He looked down at Luma. The child's small hands were still glowing faintly, and her eyes were wide with wonder. We will face them together, he said firmly. I will not let anything harm you. Luma smiled slightly and pressed her head against his chest. Ravi felt warmth and courage flow through him. He realized that their bond was more than protection. It was trust, love, and connection. Together, they could face anything. The canyon was quiet again, and the stars began to appear in the sky above. The queen stood beside them, watching carefully. Ravi knew that their journey was far from over, but for now, they had survived. They had each other. And that was enough to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The night had fallen over the glowing forest, and the canyon where Ravi, Luma, and the queen had taken shelter was quiet at last. Stars sparkled above, reflecting in the small stream that ran through the canyon. Ravi sat on a large rock, holding Luma gently. Her glowing eyes watched him, full of curiosity. He could feel her small hands moving slightly on his chest, as if trying to understand him. The queen stood nearby, her glowing skin reflecting the starlight. She watched carefully, her expression calm but serious. She is strong, she said softly. But her abilities are uncontrolled. If she does not learn to focus, she could hurt herself or others. Ravi nodded. I understand. I will help her, Queen. I will guide her and protect her at the same time. The Queen's eyes softened. Good. You must work together. Trust and guidance will strengthen her. And she will strengthen you. Ravi smiled slightly and looked at Luma. Do you want to learn, little one? He asked gently. Luma tilted her head and reached out, touching his face with her small hands. Ravi laughed softly. Then we begin. They started with simple exercises. Ravi encouraged Luma to focus on small objects around them. He held a glowing crystal in front of her and asked her to touch it. Luma concentrated, her glowing hands trembling slightly. Slowly, the crystal began to pulse in response to her touch. Ravi's heart swelled. Good job, Luma, he said. You are doing amazing. The queen watched with approval. Her connection to the energy is strong. Guide her carefully, human. She will learn faster than you expect. Luma's excitement grew. She began moving her hands in small motions, and the plants around the canyon responded. Leaves swayed and glowed brighter. Ravi guided her gently, showing her how to control the energy instead of letting it react on its own. Each small success brought laughter from Luma and a proud smile from Ravi. After a while, the queen stepped forward. Luma, she said softly, try to focus not only on what you feel but on what you want to do. You must guide the energy, not let it guide you. Luma closed her eyes and nodded. She placed her hands on the ground and focused her thoughts. Slowly, a small wave of light spread from her hands, illuminating the rocks around her. Ravi's eyes widened in amazement. You did it? That is incredible, Luma. The queen smiled, stepping closer. She learns quickly. Her potential is rare. With guidance, she could surpass what either of our species can do alone. Ravi looked at the queen, surprised. She could really be that powerful. The queen nodded. Yes, but power must be balanced with care. That is why you are important. She trusts you. That trust will teach her patience, focus, and wisdom. Luma opened her eyes and looked up at Ravi. Her glowing hands reached for him. "Dad," she whispered softly. The word was still strange to him, but it no longer caused confusion. Instead, it made his heart swell with warmth and purpose. Ravi held her hands gently. "Yes, Luma. We will learn together, and we will grow stronger. I promise." The next day, they continued training. Ravi taught Luma how to use her abilities in simple, practical ways. She could move small objects with her energy, light dark areas, and sense when danger was near. The Queen added lessons of control and focus, helping Luma understand how to connect with the planet's energy safely. Luma's confidence grew with each lesson. She learned quickly, her small body full of energy and determination. Ravi felt a growing pride. He realized that their bond was more than just protection. It was teaching, learning, and sharing. They were forming a family, connected by trust, care, and shared experiences. As the days passed, Ravi also learned from Luma. Her perception of the planet, her instinctive connection to its energy, and her quick thinking amazed him. He realized that humans could learn from alien life, and perhaps the universe had prepared this encounter for both of them. One evening, while the sky glowed with the light of two moons, Luma reached out instinctively to touch a nearby crystal. The crystal pulsed brightly, and a soft hum filled the canyon. Ravi watched in awe. "You are incredible, Luma. Look at what you can do." The Queen nodded, her eyes glowing softly. "She is extraordinary. And you, human, have guided her well. Your connection is more than guidance. It is trust. That is the foundation of her growth." Luma looked up at Ravi and smiled, a small, radiant smile. She reached out her tiny hands and held his face. "Dad," she whispered again. Ravi felt a deep sense of happiness and responsibility. This child, who had come to him unexpectedly, had become his reason to protect, to teach, and to care. The Queen watched them, her expression thoughtful. "The bond you share is rare," she said softly. "It will give her strength and wisdom. But remember, there will be challenges ahead. Others will want her power. You must be ready." Ravi nodded firmly. "I understand. We will face them together, Luma and I. We will protect each other, no matter what comes." Luma giggled softly and pressed her glowing hands against his chest again. Ravi laughed, feeling joy he had never known. He realized that teaching her, guiding her, and learning from her was a new kind of adventure, one more important than any mission he had undertaken. As night fell again, they sat together in the glowing canyon. Luma rested against Ravi, her small body radiating warmth and energy. The Queen stood nearby, watching carefully but giving them space. Ravi felt a sense of peace. For the first time in a long time, he felt that he had a purpose beyond exploration. He had a family, a life to protect, and a child who trusted him completely. The glowing forest around them shimmered in the moonlight, the plants pulsing softly in response to Luma's presence. Ravi realized that this planet, this strange and unknown place, had given him something far greater than he could have imagined. He had found trust, connection, and the beginning of a bond that would shape all of their lives. As they rested for the night, Ravi whispered softly to Luma, "Tomorrow we continue our lessons. You are learning so much, little one. I am proud of you." Luma responded with a soft glowing smile, pressing her forehead against his chest. "Dad," she whispered, and Ravi felt a surge of hope and love that he had never known before. The Queen watched silently, a small smile on her face. "This is only the beginning," she said softly. Together, they will face challenges, but together, they will grow stronger. Ravi closed his eyes for a moment, holding Luma close. He knew the days ahead would not be easy. There would be danger, enemies, and uncertainty. But with Luma and the Queen by his side, he felt ready for anything. The glowing forest pulsed softly around them as the night deepened. Ravi, Luma, and the Queen were together, united by trust, care, and the promise of what they could achieve. And in that moment, Ravi knew that no matter what challenges came, they would face them as a family. The quiet night in the glowing canyon was broken by distant sounds of movement. Ravi stood immediately, holding Luma close. Her small body pressed against his chest, but her glowing hands twitched with energy, sensing the danger. The Queen moved silently to the front, her eyes scanning the shadows between the trees. "They are here," the Queen said calmly. "The scouts have returned, and they have brought reinforcements. You must be ready." Ravi's heart pounded. He had trained for dangerous situations, but this was unlike anything he had faced. He had to protect Luma, and he had to act quickly. He knelt down to meet her glowing eyes. "Stay close to me, Luma," he whispered. "We can do this together." The child nodded slightly, her hands glowing brighter as she reached out instinctively toward the forest. Ravi realized she was already connecting with the energy around them. Her small fingers created ripples of light on the ground, illuminating the rocks and plants around them. The Queen spoke softly in his mind. "Use her energy wisely. She can help you, but you must guide her. Focus, human. Focus with her." Ravi nodded. He held Luma gently, placing his hands over hers. "We are together," he said. "We can protect each other." From the shadows, the hostile aliens emerged. They were tall, armored, and moved with precision. Their glowing weapons aimed directly at them. The scouts that had followed them before now had more soldiers, clearly intent on capturing Luma. Their red eyes glowed menacingly in the soft light of the canyon. The Queen raised her hands, sending a wave of protective energy toward them. The first line of attackers was knocked back, stumbling over the glowing rocks and plants. Ravi felt a surge of confidence. He had to act. He placed Luma on the ground gently, keeping one hand on her shoulder. "Now, Luma," he whispered. Luma's small hands glowed brighter than ever. She extended them toward the ground, and the plants around the canyon pulsed with energy. Vines rose and twisted, creating barriers and obstacles that slowed the attackers. Ravi guided her, showing her where to focus. Each movement of her hands and each pulse of light helped them gain control of the situation. The attackers hesitated, confused by the sudden energy barrier. Ravi took the chance to act. He moved quickly, setting small energy traps along the path. When the enemies stepped on them, bursts of light knocked them off balance. Ravi smiled briefly, feeling a mix of relief and pride. They were holding their ground. But the enemies were clever. They began climbing the canyon walls, attempting to bypass the traps. Ravi glanced at the Queen. She raised her hands, creating a wave of energy that pushed them back. The glowing rocks pulsed as the energy spread, forming a shield around them. Luma, seeing the attackers struggle, became more confident. Her glowing hands moved faster, directing the energy with focus and precision. The vines twisted and blocked the enemies at every turn. Ravi watched in awe. The child he had promised to protect was now actively defending them, showing bravery beyond her years. One of the enemies managed to break through a small section of the barrier and aimed a weapon directly at Ravi. Without thinking, Luma extended her hands, and a wave of energy shot toward the attacker. The weapon was knocked aside, and the enemy fell backward into a glowing trap that Ravi had set. Ravi took a deep breath, feeling the power of their combined efforts. "Good job, Luma," he whispered. "Keep going. We can do this together." The Queen's voice came to him in his mind again. "She is extraordinary. Continue to guide her. She must learn that power and control must work together. This is her moment to shine." The attackers regrouped, but Ravi and Luma were ready. The child's small hands glowed intensely, creating waves of energy that spread through the canyon. The vines twisted into protective cages, separating the attackers and slowing their advance. Ravi used his own devices and knowledge to enhance the barriers, making traps that knocked the enemies off balance at every step. The Queen moved gracefully, directing pulses of energy to protect both Ravi and Luma. She was calm, precise, and in perfect harmony with them. Ravi realized that together, they formed a strong team. Human ingenuity, alien guidance, and the child's innate power combined to create a defense that no enemy could easily overcome. Finally, the attackers realized they could not break through. They retreated slowly, their glowing weapons lowered. Ravi's heart raced with relief. He looked down at Luma, who was glowing softly and panting lightly. "We did it," he said. "You were amazing." Luma smiled and reached up, touching his face with her small glowing hands. "Dad," she whispered. Ravi felt a surge of pride and love. The word was no longer confusing. It was real, and it filled him with warmth and purpose. The Queen approached them, her expression calm but approving. "You have done well," she said softly. "You and Luma together are stronger than I imagined. But remember, there will be others. More challenges will come. You must continue to train, guide, and protect her." Ravi nodded firmly. "I understand. We will be ready. Luma and I will face anything together." The child pressed her forehead against his chest, glowing softly. Ravi felt a sense of peace. She had faced danger and had helped protect them. She had shown bravery, intelligence, and trust. And he had seen it all, guiding her and supporting her. He realized that this battle had strengthened their bond more than words could describe. The canyon returned to quiet once more, the glowing plants pulsing softly around them. Ravi held Luma close, feeling her small hands on his chest. The Queen stood nearby, still alert but relaxed. Ravi understood that this was only the beginning. Many challenges lay ahead, but he also knew that together, they were strong. As the stars filled the sky above the glowing forest, Ravi whispered softly to Luma, "You were incredible today. I am proud of you. We will continue to grow stronger, and we will face whatever comes next together." Luma's glowing hands reached up and held his face. "Dad," she whispered again. The word felt like a promise, a bond that neither distance nor danger could break. The Queen watched silently, a small smile on her face. "This is only the beginning," she said softly. "They will face many trials, but together, they will grow stronger and wiser. This bond will protect them and guide them through what is to come." Ravi closed his eyes for a moment, holding Luma close. He knew the road ahead would not be easy. Danger, uncertainty, and enemies would challenge them again. But with Luma by his side and the Queen's guidance, he felt ready for anything. The glowing canyon pulsed softly in the night as father, child, and Queen prepared for the next step of their journey. Together, they were a team, united by trust, courage, and the promise of protecting each other no matter what challenges the universe might bring. The morning sun bathed the glowing canyon in soft light. Ravi sat on a large rock, holding Luma gently on his lap. The child's small hands rested on his chest, and her glowing eyes followed his every movement. After the battle with the hostile forces, the canyon felt peaceful once more. Birds with shining feathers flitted between the glowing trees, and the energy of the plants pulsed softly around them. The queen stood a few steps away, her eyes watching carefully. She had guided them through the previous challenges, but now she allowed them a moment of calm. Ravi looked down at Luma. "You are safe now, little one," he said softly. "We faced danger together, and we came through stronger. I am proud of you." Luma smiled, her glowing hands resting on his arms. "Dad," she whispered. The word felt natural now, full of trust and love. Ravi felt a warmth in his chest, a feeling he had never experienced before. He realized that the bond between them had grown stronger than he could have imagined. The queen approached slowly, her steps graceful. "You have done well, Ravi," she said. "You have guided her, protected her, and taught her. She has learned more than I expected in such a short time. And you have formed a bond that even my people have not seen before." Ravi nodded humbly. "I only did what I had to. She trusts me, and I trust her. That is all that matters." The queen smiled softly. "It is more than that. This bond will shape her future. She will need guidance, love, and protection. And now, you have shown that you can provide all three. I accept this, Ravi. You are her father, not only by bond but by choice." Ravi blinked in surprise. You accept me?" The queen nodded. "Yes. She chose you, and you chose her. That choice is stronger than any law or tradition. She belongs with you, and I will support that connection." Luma giggled softly, pressing her glowing hands against Ravi's chest. "Dad," she whispered again. Ravi smiled and hugged her tightly. He realized that this moment marked the beginning of a new life for all three of them. The queen extended her hand toward them. "Come with me. There is a place you must see. It is where Luma can grow safely, and where you can continue to guide her." Ravi stood carefully, holding Luma close. Together, they followed the queen through the glowing forest. The path led to a high plateau overlooking the valley below. From this vantage point, Ravi could see the beauty of the planet, rivers of light, forests that shimmered in green and blue, and mountains that glowed faintly in the distance. "This is a sanctuary," the queen said softly. "It has been protected for centuries. Here, Luma can learn, grow, and be safe from those who wish her harm. And you, Ravi, can guide her without interference." Ravi looked down at Luma, who was glowing faintly with excitement. "This is beautiful," he said. "She will be safe here, and we can continue our lessons together." The queen nodded. "Yes. And you will not be alone. I will assist when needed, but your bond with her is the strongest guidance she can have. Teach her patience, wisdom, and courage. She will surpass even my expectations." Luma ran a few steps ahead, exploring the plateau. Her small hands touched the glowing plants, causing them to shimmer brightly. Ravi followed, keeping a careful watch. He realized that she was not only powerful but also curious and intelligent. Each step she took was a step toward understanding herself and her abilities. The queen watched them silently, a small smile on her face. "She is ready for a new chapter," she said. "And you, Ravi, are ready to be her father in every way. Together, you will face challenges, learn from each other, and grow stronger." Ravi knelt down, holding Luma's hands in his. "Are you ready, little one?" he asked. "We will explore, learn, and grow together. I will protect you, and I will guide you. Can you do this with me?" Luma's glowing eyes met his. She nodded, a small determined smile on her face. "Yes, Dad," she whispered. Ravi felt a surge of hope and happiness. He realized that this child, who had come to him unexpectedly, had changed his life forever. The Queen stepped forward, placing her hands on the glowing rocks nearby. Energy spread across the plateau, forming a protective barrier. "This sanctuary will keep you safe. But remember, the universe is vast. Challenges will come. You must stay united, trust each other, and never let go of this bond." Ravi looked at her, determined. "We will. Luma and I will face everything together. Nothing will break our bond." Luma giggled and pressed her small hands against his chest. "Nothing," she echoed softly. Ravi smiled, feeling joy and pride unlike anything he had ever known. As the sun began to rise, bathing the sanctuary in golden light, Ravi realized that their journey was just beginning. There would be lessons, adventures, and challenges ahead, but he was ready. He had found a child who trusted him completely, a queen who supported them, and a planet filled with energy and wonder. He looked down at Luma and whispered, "We are together now. We will face everything as a family. And I promise, you will never be alone." Luma smiled and hugged him tightly. "Never alone," she repeated. The word felt like a promise, a bond that would last through anything. The Queen watched them, satisfied and hopeful. "They are ready," she said softly. "Ready to face the universe together. This is the beginning of something extraordinary." Ravi held Luma close, feeling the warmth of her small hands and the strength of their connection. He knew that no matter what dangers or challenges the future held, they would face them together. The bond between them was unbreakable, filled with trust, love, and courage. As the light of the suns filled the sky, the glowing forest pulsed gently around them. The sanctuary was safe, the threats had been driven away, and a new chapter of life had begun. Ravi, Luma, and the Queen stood together, united by choice, trust, and a bond that transcended species and worlds. Ravi whispered once more to Luma, "We are a family now. And together, we will make the future bright." Luma's glowing hands pressed against his chest, and her voice, small but full of certainty, repeated, "Bright." The Queen smiled softly, knowing that the bond they shared would guide them through every challenge. And as the winds of the planet danced through the glowing forest, Ravi realized that he had found more than adventure. He had found purpose, connection, and a family that would never be broken. The universe was vast and full of mysteries, but together, they were ready to face everything. Ravi, Luma, and the Queen stood on the plateau, watching the sun rise, knowing that this was only the beginning of their extraordinary journey.